I love it when it does that. It makes me feel official. So this is the Drew Experience, the show that's 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. The show is brought to you by a few supporters. First, KRT Tips and Tricks with Wesley Jensen and Darren Stringer, the largest growing online dojo since the pandemic began. Kyokushin Shuffle podcast and Forever the Student ebook by Sensei Patrick Pinto. The most important book of our time. He's going to kill me if I don't include it. He won't, but the Budo Karate of Masoyama by Sosai's interpreter, Shian Cameron Quinn. One of the best books and most influential books for any martial arts connoisseur or practitioner, whether you do Kyokushin, any other art in general. And lastly, also brought to you by Moments Management. If you're an upcoming Kyokushin fighter that wants to go into pro kickboxing or MMA, you need a good manager to understand the fight game before you enter, when you're competing, and once you leave, to make sure you leave with good investments and riches in your pocket. Nima Safapur and his team, who represent pro MMA fighters, will be more than happy to teach you about the importance of the fight game to make sure you leave well. Moments Management, where quality comes first. And tonight's guest, wow, I have the honor of having the first female duo. You know, she came on the show earlier in the year. You know, she was the first female sensei, actually, and now she makes her second appearance. So now she's bringing a special guest. She's a devoted mother, a very talented and skilled person, not only as a sensei in Kyokushin, but she's also a graphic designer. She understands business. She runs a dojo while making sure everything is taken care of. It's such a big honor. She's been a huge influence for my show when she got on Shian Pierre Cataford of her association, IKO Nakamura. She's also helped me along with other projects too. I am very honored to finally have back Sensei Johanne Fournier with her daughter, Sempai Laurence. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, it's a big honor to have you. So it's a bigger privilege to have both of you on because I'm telling you, I mean, when I had you guys on, like when I had you on Sensei, it was a big deal. And then after that, like, I just feel the support from your association has been second to none. Like, it's like, I just want to say a shout out to every single person who's taken the time to message me back from IKO Nakamura. I appreciate it. Y'all are the best. And that's why I want to make sure I give back any way I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how's it been for both of you guys? You know, now, things are opened up. So what's summer 2021 been like?
Well, I've been working every single day, or approximately.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came back from a vacay with my father, but anything else has just been work and
training too.
Training too.
Yeah, me just came back from vacation too, but training, taking care of the dojo, reopening. First time in many years that I'm open during the month of July. Usually I close down, but this year I've decided to stay open and see what's what. And surprisingly, I mean, I have so many registration. I would never dream to have that many. I'm very pleased and, grateful and happy that it's going well. We're training still outside. We're not in the dojo yet. We're still, taking advantage of the great weather and training outside. But the dojo is like going amazingly good. I'm very happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
That is so awesome. And it's like, and as you said, I like what you said, like, it's the first time I'm open in July, but do you think it's because parents were maybe just tired of keeping their kids at home and they're like, okay, they're like,
well, probably.
But also, I have a specific group of people that usually travels during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial, and they usually go overseas, and they travel and families and everything. So the kids wouldn't be there during summertime. But this year, again, since they can't really travel, and, other sports being very busy and, saturated too in registration. And also, I have to say, the Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it at first, but when the first parent told me, my kids saw on TV that karate was coming on Olympics, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, good, so that brings a bit of people too. So yeah, Yeah, maybe because they're fed up of their kids, but I mean, the main thing is that they want them to move.
Yeah.
And karate is the best, I think, for kids to get that.
I would definitely agree. I'll give you my 3 step nieces. Like I'll give you my 3 step nieces to register, you know, just that I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to support here. So, you know, you'll get 3 nieces. One's got a bit of a big mouth, so I'm sure you could teach her how to respect others. Oh, and by the way, guys, the name of the dojo is Karate Johanne Fournier in Laval. It's on Curé et Labelle. You want to hear something crazy about that? So Curé Labelle, are you where is it where kind of where there's like a sportsplex like on the highway? Is that where you are?
No. We're on close to where the Recreatec used to be.
Okay.
In front of that. It's a small building. It's not actually on Curé Labelle. It's on Vincent Massé.
Okay.
But on the other side, it's Curé Labelle. So on Curé Labelle, there's a big store called Club Entrepôt with a giant tiger store. And we're in that parking lot.
Okay. Because Laval is so big. It's like you leave Montreal, you're like, it's so wide. But because funny enough, my father's old company like was in Laval on Curé Labelle. I got to get the exact specifics. I'm terrible with directions, but it was in that area. So it's a great area. And I'm really happy to see that a lot of kids are coming. And yeah, let me ask you guys, with karate in the Olympics, it's not Kyokushin, but any form of karate. Do you think that just helps put eyes on our version of karate?
Yes.
I don't think it's, how can I say this? The greatest thing, because it's like only for 1 year. It's not very clear who can participate, who cannot. But the fact that it's there just puts a big giant light on the sports, and it opens a door for future Olympics to have better rules and everything.
And remember too that parents don't understand what's the difference.
No.
To them, it's karate. So when they asked me, are we going to go to the Olympics? I said, well, first thing first, learn to walk before running. Yeah. And then should we go to the Olympics one day, someday, we'll get there. But right now, let's just learn how to kick and how to punch and do katas and fighting, you know. But it's like every time there's a karate movie or a brand new karate star going on movies and TV, there's a huge recrudescence of people registering for karate and martial arts, which is great, you know, because we benefit out of it. And should we go as Kyokushin in Olympics someday? Well, yay.
I hope so.
But we still have the chance to compete internationally. So to me, it's a big thing too. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Olympics. You can travel all around the world and, you know, get to meet people too.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the Kumite tournaments, and I miss about the most. Like, you just meet people from all around the world, or like different dojos you never heard of. And I think we have one. I think it's safe to say, when it comes to Kyokushin, we have one of the best communities in the world.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I definitely think too. Yeah.
It's like, even in Quebec too, especially Quebec. Like, I mean, there's like, God, there's like so many associations. I don't want to go into it, but like with your association,
don't go there.
Yeah. But with yours though, like it seems like there's such a good structure. Like, even from what I heard, like when the kumites are organized, like every single person under IKO Nakamura, it's like a family, and it's like such quality tournaments. What do you think? According to you two, since you guys became members of this association, what do you think has been like made it so fun to be part of this association?
Definitely the part of being in the family.
Yeah, I mean the part where we've been like received as already a part of the family, it made things so much easier. Like when I came back to training and I met those amazing people, I just felt in the right place, and I didn't feel like, oh, it's been a long time or anything. It's really been a good time with those people.
Yeah, they welcomed us like as we had been with the family the whole time. And there's no difference because we've been there just a year. They don't make any like, oh, you weren't there before. Or there's not that attitude like, you weren't there before. No, it's like, oh, come in, we'll show you, we'll teach you, we'll have fun together. And the way it's brought up, well, first from Jean Pierre, but other senseis too, because we go train with Jean Pierre school as well. And we have that opportunity that every week we can get training with them, and everyone is like, oh, you should maybe do this, like this, like this. But it's not like condescending. It's, hey, let me help you. You'll do it like this. Let me explain to you how it works. And
it's in a teacher way, a real teacher way.
Yes, it's nice. It's really nice.
It's kind of like the Dagestani method of MMA. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow UFC, but you think of Khabib, the guy who just retired. Mm-hmm. Look at like how now, like, how he trains like his brothers. Like it's iron sharpens iron, like with Nakamura. There's no, even like those who an orange belt can learn so much from a blue belt. It's like, it's really that you pass it down. Just because you're a higher belt doesn't mean you neglect the others. You have to pass it down. And I think that's what I get from you, Sensei and Senpai.
Yeah, you know what? I always said, and I've been doing karate for 20 something years now.
Yeah.
And I've always said you can learn from the best at the top, but you can learn at the best from the bottom too. A white belt can teach you something.
Yeah. And
sometimes as a teacher, I'm trying to explain something and the student doesn't understand. And then I say, okay, I explain to you, explain to me what you understand. Maybe I can try not to help you understand what I'm trying to tell you. And I learned something from that student because the way he explained it to me is like, okay, maybe I need to change something so you better understand how I explain it to you. So that makes me grow as a person, but as a teacher as well. So you learn from any belts, any degrees, and anybody around you. You just have to open up your eyes and listen, mm-hmm. and be there for the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's amazing that you said that, because when I spoke with Jean Pierre, I love what he said, where he's like, yes, he's like, I am a sixth dan, but I learned something from my students and my senseis and Shian and other Shians every day. He's like, I have to be a student too. And that's how it always has to be. Like I've always kind of struggled with that too myself. But then when I heard that, that's when things started going into gear, where it's like, I started applying that to like my everyday, like, it's not, you can't look at it like nose up in the air. You have to always look at other people's, way of, I guess, learning and perceiving. And because like I recently at my job, like I had to mentor some new hires. So imagine like they're giving me like this responsibility, and I use that approach where they're teaching me something. I'm teaching them something, but they're teaching me something, which is to be patient with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, patience is the most important thing.
Yeah, it is.
And remember, we've been there before. And, being yelled at because you don't understand something,
it's not the right way to go.
I don't think you're going to get that person to execute whatever you want. I mean, there's a way of doing, of course, Kyokushin being Kyokushin, it's strict. It's a almost military way, but it has changed over the year. I mean, I come from the old-fashioned way where I used to have the shnai on me,
Oh my God,
we can't do this. We can't do this anymore because we're going to lose our students, you know? But we teach discipline a different way because we evolved in that process, and as person, but as Kyokushin practitioner as well,
Tell me about that change more. I want to hear more about it, because I like what you said, militaristic. And it's so true, because they used to be like, hey, your cat is bad, you're not getting your orange belt. Like they would threat, like back in our day, like, I feel like I'm old now, but we're not that. But I remember when I was getting my orange belt, and I had a sensei like a senpai that actually said, you don't know your first kata? He's like, how do you expect to get your orange belt? How do you say that to someone? You're not supposed to break down someone to make them feel bad. But so
that used to be like that, Mm-hmm. It used to be like the intimidator. Mm-hmm. And it was either you break or you go.
Yeah.
And it changed over the year because, as a society,
we evolved.
Yeah.
And there's been so many studies about the fact that when you intimidate someone into doing something, they learn less than if you let them learn their way and the gentle-ish way. Like, it's still really strict, but it's more of an understanding strict. So when she teaches me something, like, I know she won't be like, she won't hit me. We can say it like that. She won't hit me with the shnai or anything, but I know that I have to do my things, and she will let me learn my way, but she will be there to make me go in the right path and the right way to go do it.
That's amazing. And like, as Sensei, you also work with kids who are like, have special needs. Like, you're like, that's something that's the reason why, like, I love having you on my show, because like, that's something I'm very passionate about, whether you're at risk or especially special needs. So imagine like the old way, like Kyokushin would not have been for me if I was a child, probably. Like, I was like, yeah. But now, like, you have like Christos, for example, that's one example. Like, and how do you feel like his story has helped make the dojo a better place? Like, cause he's a big part of that dojo.
Well, he's such a sweet kid. I mean, I love him to death.
He's so nice.
And talking about his history and everything, parents have changed the way they look at us, because, of course, karate is strict, and we're still strict with him. I mean, there's things to do and there's ways to do. There's respect. I mean, respect is the basis of karate, And when they see that we try to make him to be a better version of himself, has how he wants to be, it's not, we're not imposing a version. We're trying to make him see what, whatever he can be, And in karate, this kid is trying so hard, so hard, and he keeps on going, and he never stops. And he was doing in his exam in June, and he was like, it's hard. I said, I know it's hard, but you're doing it. Don't you see yourself? And he was not seeing himself. And I said, you know what? I'm very proud, and you should be proud. And he was so proud when I presented him with his belt. He was like, oh my God, I got my belt.
What belt is he now?
He's blue bar. So he's orange blue bar.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's very, very happy. And he's going to come back because he usually stops during summertime. Mm-hmm. He's going to come back in 3 weeks, actually, because we're opening up the fall session at the end of August. So
time is flying. Time is
flying. I feel like we just started the summer session. It's almost done. It's almost over. It's crazy.
Didn't you guys find, though, that it wasn't really much of a summer? I just felt this year was kind of like rain, heat, cloud, rain,
yeah.
cloud.
Indeed.
It's like, I think you check your phone. What's the weather app saying today? Il y a beaucoup de nuages. It's like, okay, like l'été c'est fini.
Well, but wait in September, though.
Oh my God.
We've been having, like, in the last few years, a great weather time in September, up until October. So, yeah, we'll see.
I love October, November, September.
It can be very nice in September, and we're going to stick outside to do karate outside.
Good.
It's a great promotion, actually, because I've had many tryouts for kids, because parents were just walking on the street and say, oh, you guys doing karate? Oh, can my kid try? I said, yeah, come in right now. Come. And I've had, especially little girls, they're like, oh, karate.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
It's amazing. This time we have more girls registering.
That's amazing. And I want to ask you about why you think that is now. Like, because like I just think, with like sports like the UFC, and now we're seeing the Olympics too, like with more women's sports today, because as the world modernizes,
we empowerment. Get the empowerment we get from the society.
But I think there's also the fact that it's not a men's sport anymore. Like, when I started as a young little girl, there was so many men, and I didn't have any partners to do karate like with another girl. And the fact that I'm the next generation and people just a bit over my age that start having kids, like they're from my generation that didn't have like women's sport as much as men's sport, but now it's just sports. It's for everybody.
It's not gender separated anymore.
No.
And we see more women, you know, being successful.
Yeah, we're empowered by the fact that it's not just a men's sport. It's a sport. It's for everybody. And little girls now know this because of their parents that just says, what sports do you want to do? And if they want to say karate, soccer, baseball, anything, they accept it now. Before it was such a big deal.
I mean, she played baseball here in Laval. She was the only girl in the team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there was no girl to make a full team in Laval.
There was a girl.
There was one team.
Yeah, there was one team of girl that was the only team in all of the
organization.
And it was far from me, so I didn't go there. But like one team in the whole organization, and we played with boys. And I was known in my team as the girl because it was so rare to have a girl on the team. And even in karate, I've been like the girl for a long time before like going internationally to do competition, because at home, there's not a lot of people that do karate.
There were not that many. Let's just put it this way, because often when she was a kid, she used to fight against boys because there was nobody. But within the last 10 years, we've seen many more girls, you know, come to register, try out, and they want to compete.
Yeah.
And they're more, you know, towards competition than the men. Men's come, they want to destroy, you know. It's a men power, you know. But the girls are like, let's go this way. And they all want to run before walking.
Yeah.
And you're not going to stop this kind of attitude. You want to, you know, actually promote that and say, okay, let's just do it baby steps, but we'll do it together. And I'm so glad when I see people like that. They want to compete, they want to learn more, they want to, you know, even nonetheless the gender. I mean, if somebody wants to learn and they have the right attitude, it's such a pleasure to teach, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen more and more people like that the last few years, I say, than just the typical guy that comes in and says, I want to fight you. Like, okay, you sure you want this?
You don't want to do this, man.
I've had people coming in my dojo. I'm teaching on Saturday morning.
Oh my God, I remember that.
I was teaching the little babies. Well, I call them the babies, the 3-year-old, you know, and I was parents all over the place. And this guy comes in like, who's the person in charge? I'm like, can I help you? You know, it's like, you're very polite. And the guy says, well, I want to fight you. I'm like, okay, but why? I want to try to see if you're such a big person. I'm like, well, okay, well, if you want to come in at 10:30, I have a fighting class. I mean, you're welcome. Come in, you know. No, I want to fight you, just you and I alone, nobody here. I'm like, no, sorry.
There's rules.
There are rules. There are things that you need to learn first. And if you want to fight me, well, come in my classes. He went out, never saw him again.
That was a funny one.
Love those dojo warriors. Or like, you know what I love? It's like when people on social media see you do martial arts, they talk to you as if you have brain damage. You're like, so you do martial arts, you do kickboxing, you planning to go to the UFC like GSP or Conor McGregor? And it's like, and I'm like, yeah. It's like, and then I talk normal. It's like, yeah, it's like I do martial arts to stay in shape. Kind of gives me like, you gotta like talk to them in a way to make them feel like, to show that their ignorance is showing. And I just feel but I feel it's less now with martial arts because of like combat sports being more globalized. But I know exactly what you mean, where like those dojo warriors come in.
It's still applied though for women, and it's sad though, because you know, when we say, oh, I do karate, I'm like, oh yeah, you? Yeah, why not me? Why not me? I mean, tell me why.
There's so many people, sadly, especially men, that when we say we do karate, they try to fight us. They tell us, oh, well, you're just a little girl, I can beat you up.
But why?
Out of where?
Why? I don't understand. I mean, what have I done to you or said? I mean, anyways.
Yeah.
My
Let's move on.
yeah, my first, if you guys want to know something, so when I started Kyokushin, my first sparring partner was a girl. And it's because I wanted to learn proper technique. And I always say, you know, if you really want to learn good Kyokushin kumite techniques, if you're a guy, spar with a woman or a girl, because you know why? You learn how to like use your power selectively and find like they pick your spots, like, because you have to be careful, you know, it's a different genetic makeup. And I think girls can be the best women, or girls can be the best teachers in karate. And so I got to give a shout out to Lisa, my old sparring partner, Lisa Clermont. You know, Lisa, thank you for all the times you were patient with me. And I'm glad you didn't give me a Mawashiri Gary across the head if I was a bit. No, she's cool though. She's cool. But no, like I always say, like, if you really want to learn how to spar properly, spar with a high level woman in Kyokushin or any martial art. It's the best way to really learn.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Because we're more technicians, I think, than the men. But many men are. I mean, Jean-Pierre is a great example of explaining to the last little portion of your nail what this movement does, you know,
and why do you do it,
and and how it should be done, and why you should do it this way, and this is what I love about it, because I'm a big technician too. Well, we are both.
Yeah.
And being said how and explain how to do something to understand the bankai, you know, because you can do a block,
but why?
I mean,
why do we do?
What does it serve you?
Like,
why do we do Jodanuki? Why do we do Shodanishuki? Why do we do a Gedan Barai? And when to do the Gedan Barai? What's the purpose behind it? You know. So and in katas, why are you doing this movement in katas? It's not just a choreography, you know. It's bankai. It's a fight, you know. So, yeah.
Very, very true. Are there now I know obviously we talk about Kyokushin, but we all follow a bit of UFC, especially the big fighters. When you watch UFC today, like I always ask this question, are there like any fighter or fighters that have caught your eye where you look at it and it's like, oh, that's like kind of like a Kyokushin fighter? Like, is there any?
They are so.
It's such a different thing though, because
they
can have like little specks of Kyokushin in their training, but usually most of them choose a path and choose to add on every other thing. Like, you know, GSP, Georges Saint-Pierre, started as Kyokushin, but then he went every other way. And he does have the Kyokushin in him as a base, but really every other thing shows up. So
they specialize. You know?
They specialize.
Most of them are BGG. Well, we're gonna say it straight, but a lot of them specialized in other direction as well. So they can have a great mix of both the floor and up, you know, standing up. You know, I don't know if you saw Meisha Tate's last fight.
Yeah,
she used to be the best on the floor, but she upgraded her standing fight too, and she made an amazing comeback.
Yeah.
After how many years? 3?
I think 3. Yeah.
5 years. 5? Yeah, 5 years.
Oh my God.
So imagine coming back to UFC as a pro. She had to do something more than just what she used to do, you know. So we can see Kyokushin or karate in every fighters, but we see a lot of, you know, mix. That's why it's called mixed martial arts, because it's to be a great UFC fighter. I think you cannot just be one type of martial art. You have to be many more.
Very, very true. I really think when I was talking with my coach Mohammed about this, like this is what we think. We always say, if you're a kid and let's say your kid wants to become a pro MMA fighter, start him off in Kyokushin as the first base. When he gets his black belt, put him into boxing with wrestling. And then that's a very lethal combination, like those three, because you have Kyokushin as your base. You're going to learn how to use your hands. And then you learn how to go on the ground, which wrestling is like the toughest, probably sport in the world with all the conditioning.
It is tough. It is tough. Not the easiest. Have you ever done that?
I did judo before Kyokushin. Okay, so I'll tell you what I did. I did Taekwondo for 6 months, but then I saw how limited it was because Taekwondo, it's like you're wearing body armor. And if a guy comes in close to me, I'm done. And that's what we saw in K1 with Andy Hug versus the Taekwondo guys. I tried judo for like 1 day, but then when the guy just lay on me for like 20 minutes, I was like, this is not fun. This is not fun. I'm like, he just threw me and he just lay on me. And then that's when I found Kyokushin, because I always I was motivated. I always loved Dolph Lundgren, who's a Shodan, and now he's a Yondan in Kyokushin. I was always interested in like martial arts flicks too, like Van Damme with Kickboxer, Blade with Wesley Snipes. So yeah, that's what I got into martial arts for. And then Kyokushin was I was born for Kyokushin. Like now I just say I was born and bred for Kyokushin. I think if you're from Russia and Iran, or if you're from Quebec, I'm not, je suis pas québécois, mais je me sens comme je suis québécois avec mon français.
You are one.
Dans mon cas, je suis non, j'adore la culture parce que j'utilise mon français. Non, mais but I always say, like, if you're from Russia, Iran, or Japan or Quebec, you're meant for Kyokushin. Like you're bred for it.
Yeah, when we all have our personal reasons to start Kyokushin. Me, I wasn't meant to be a Kyokushin practitioner. I was
because of my brother.
I was a gymnastic person, actually. I did gymnastics for almost 20 years. And then I had my son, who's older than Laurence, and he wanted to do karate. I said, okay, well, let's go and let's have a look. So he was there, and I was sitting on a bench, and Jean-Jacques was my first sensei, actually. And he says, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm waiting for my son. He says, no, what are you doing? Why aren't you on the floor? And I said, well, I could try. Why not? And I tried, and it's like I fell in love with the sport right away. And I had Laurence a few years after, and she tagged along every time because I became a single mother. She was about 3 years old.
No, I started at 2.
You started at 2 at the actually, Jean-Jacques used to teach at daycare.
At my daycare.
And he was at her daycare. She started there, and then at 3 years old, she was coming with me at the dojo, sitting at the side of the tatami. And then she was doing all the things, and then she said, oh, Mom, I want to join the dojo. I'm like, okay.
I was doing karate on the side of the dojo, and I was looking at them, and I was trying to repeat what they were doing.
Wow.
And I remember one night specifically, say Sensei?
It was Sensei Jacques.
I think so. He came up to me and he said, est-ce que tu veux essayer? Which means, do you want to try? And I said, yes, I want to try.
So she's been doing karate since she was 2.5.
Yeah.
Ish.
That's amazing. I mean, but the sad thing for me is I came into Kyokushin when the golden era was like done, when, unfortunately Xian Reynald passed away in 2016. And that's when things started to really change for I'd say there was a bit of
the sport change. I think that people are getting more intelligent, I would say, in the sport as well. It's not just about street fighting anymore. It's about, it's in the sport intelligence. People are more organized. Dojos are better organized. Those are businesses now. It's not just a dojo and you train. It's a business well managed, better managed. And tournaments are being organized better than it used to be. I mean, we've had this era where it was terrible in Montreal. I mean, well, not just Montreal, all over the place, where referees were not trained properly. So kids would get injured, and you would lose the registration as a dojo because parents would not understand the sport or why the referee said this kid win and this kid lose, and now it's we as a dojo, we train the parents as well. We teach them that this is how it's going to be. Your kid may win, your kid may lose, but the referees are well trained now because
way more than before.
Yeah, there's classes now given, and as opposed to back then, it was every once in a while there was a class given, and then wow, you were lucky if you could get in.
Yeah.
So now it's more, it's like part of the curriculum. If you want to become a black belt, you have to become, you have to at least try to get some classes done and understand what's the referee's job, because it's easy to blame them, but they're human after all,
They really are. And that's why, like, one time, like, when I spoke with Jean-Pierre, like, he was telling me that he's like, why, like, he was like telling me like why there needs to be more like seminars for refs and judges especially. And he was telling me, he's like, listen, he was telling me like, he's like, I go, like, I have to go here. He's like, they hear my name, and he's like, I go here. I have to teach them. I have to teach this association how to do this, and then if they're doing a kumite, because his organization is coming to that organization's tournament. So when they go there, he wants to make sure it's a good reflection on Nakamura, and he's got to make sure that you guys have a good image too. So I could see why. I like how like you guys, like not only you Sensei and Senpai, but everyone in like Nakamura is trying to really educate about what makes a good ref and a good judge, because I've seen some decisions too in like ref thing, like where it's like, how do you let this go? Like there was one point where I was at one, my second tournament I did, it was that big, do you guys remember that big Shin tournament in 2018? That was a disaster. Yep. It was at the Claude Robillard Arena in okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the amount of injuries I saw that could have been avoided just for from better reffing. It was like
yeah, and you said the right word. It's part of the education. And as a person, when you decide, you have lives into your hands when you decide to be a referee, and to let injuries go, it's not normal. It happens. I mean, we're doing Kyokushin,
it's part of
the sport, but to have so many injuries during a tournament, it makes you wonder, it's like, are you enough trained? Are you maybe it's not your place to be Sushin. Maybe you can do Fukushin to get more experience, because we, as ego, you want to be the Sushin because it's the great job, but
are you ready?
Are you ready as a person to take that responsibility? Because it's a huge responsibility.
It is.
And if you cut out the wrong decision, that changes a lot for both ways, I remember many years ago, there was a decision with two fighters, and the girl, she had clearly won. I mean, she had a Wazari, and the other one had the penalty, but they gave the one to the one who had the penalty.
What was the reason?
He never explained. The referee never explained. He clearly made a mistake. And when he called it out, he called it like clearly. And then when we asked, he said, I don't have to explain to you. Like, well, yeah, please do.
I like to see the referee do that to Jean-Pierre, like, or.
Oh, they wouldn't.
Or.
Well, you see, it's part of the education now. Is like a referee has to be able to explain why you took a decision. Okay, you have to stick to your decision. Don't get me wrong, but if you've done a mistake, try at least to fix it.
And admit it.
And admit it. I mean, be humble enough to just say, I think I made a mistake. And talk to, there's always a referee, a head referee in every tournament, and talk to them. I mean, it's human to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It happens. But at least if you're making one, have the humility to say, hey, I made a mistake. How can I fix it now?
Right. And I'm very glad that we're having these kinds of like seminars now, like especially that it's being pushed more, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, we look at tournaments like BJJ, we see like how organized they are, and we don't hear about I mean, look, maybe I'm sure they have their issues too, because you said judging is a human thing, but I'm just in Kyokushin, it's like you wonder, like, did they get this guy off the street, or was it like someone's parent or cousin that said, hey, look, I'll just volunteer, and they probably heard the basics, but they just didn't really understand, like, look, this is what an ippon is, this is what an iwazuri is, and this is what a penalty is. Like, you got to do the seminars, and yes, it's going to take time, but this is like prepping for an exam, because someone, yeah, there was an ambulance at that tournament. Okay, like they had to bring an ambulance in for okay, that's not normal. Like and the kid broke his shoulder apparently. So
it happens, you know. It happens. I've seen knockdowns in tournaments that you know, it's like, it's a sport, it's a fighting sport, so it's bound to happen. But when it happens too often during one tournament,
that's when you
as an organization, and if you're the person who organizes it, you got to ask yourself some question at the end, and when you finish your post tournament, you know, just to understand what went wrong and what could have been improved for next one, you know, because you don't want to repeat. And that's what happened for a few years, is like the same mistake was repeated over and over and over. There's some tournaments I refuse to go now because they're not listening at all. I mean, they ask us, how can we improve? I'm like, why would I tell you you're not listening? And some in the States are so badly referred. The refereeing is the worst ever.
I still heard from that one.
But you know, it's now it's better. I mean, we gotta say it. We gotta shut it out. It's like people are getting more educated, thank God. But Kyokushin has become a better thing too. It's not just street fighting like it used to be.
It changed for the better.
I think it changed for the better too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said. There's some horrible tournaments run in the U.S. I mean, there's one. Okay.
There's some in Canada too. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna give the name of it because but like the guy.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Because so I'm going to try to make it sound as respectable as I can, okay? So it's a tournament in the U.S., and they have a lot of other organizations, and, you know, I support IKO Nakamura because you guys support me, so let's make that clear. I said, well, what about having this tournament go ahead, what about having IKO Nakamura? And he's like, he kind of gave me like a very wishy-washy answer. And I said, you do realize that if anything that has IKO Nakamura supporting you, that's going to help your tournament more than you realize, right? And he said, well, he's like, I don't really know. And I said, stop giving me the wishy-washy. Just admit it that, you know, you want to do things your way. You don't want to have them there because, you know, you're going to see what they do. And then your ego is going to step in to say like, oh, I don't want them there. But you have to realize, I said, anytime an organization comes into a tournament, it's to help you grow. You have to look at it that way. You can't shut out any organization. You have to put the ego aside.
And you know what? At the end of the day, we're all doing the same sport.
Yeah.
And we gotta learn. And I think this is what I so adore from Nakamura, is that there's no politics within our group.
Oh, there's none of that.
I mean, we're 14 dojo here in Quebec.
I think so, yeah.
Just in Quebec. And the friendship that we have, and we always have someone that's there if we have a question or if we're in doubt or something. I mean, it's not just Jean Pierre that has to answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has another Jean Pierre, by the way. There's two Jean Pierre in the organization in Quebec. Jean Pierre Rouillet, Jean Pierre Cataford. So there's other Xians too, Xian Serge, Xian Lino. There's great senseis too. I mean, when we have a question, there's always someone there to help out or to try.
They are always willing to help.
It's not like, oh, I'll get back to you. It's like, no, it's everybody talks to each other. There's no backstabbing. I hate to say that, but we've seen it before, but there's nothing like that. And that's what it's really the family type organization that I really like about the respect of each other. From white to higher grades,
I mean, like when we started reopening again, like I felt I had to try to promote your dojo on Facebook and Shian Pierre's dojo, because I mean, this is like it. Like I mean, some of us, some of like the Shians and senseis, like this is just a hobby. It's like it's a passion project where they have other jobs. And I always like to say, martial arts masters and martial arts Shians and senseis do a better job of bridging the communities than our elected politicians do. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And so like I really felt like, you said that sense of family with Nakamura. Like, for example, I once asked Shian Pierre, Shian Pierre, can you tell me why some wear a red jacket and some Shians wear a white jacket? What does it mean? Calls me up middle of the day and explained everything to me within 30 minutes. And it was like, I felt like I was in a history class learning something.
30 minutes? Wow, you're lucky.
Yeah, you're really lucky.
Just kidding. I love you, Shian.
No,
but he really explained it because he wanted to explain like what the red jackets meant and what the white jackets mean, and why Nakamura wears white jackets now compared to like with the other organizations. There's even blue jackets apparently, or black, but like the white jackets, that's a different level of like, that's a nice fashion statement.
Yeah, indeed.
What I want to ask you guys too, because you guys are on social media a lot now. With social media, let's be honest, Kyokushin hasn't done the best in terms of promoting itself on social media. They've tried, but with Nakamura, what I noticed is Shian Masunaga is doing like, he's like a whiz. Oh, Dio Masunaga. Excuse me there. Excuse me, Shian Dio Masunaga.
Dio. Yeah.
So Shian Dio
no Shian. Dio is his position.
Oh, what's Dio? I learned something.
Dio is president.
Dio, that's Japanese for president?
Yeah.
Okay. I stand corrected there. I'm really sorry. I didn't know. I hope it doesn't come back to me.
That's okay. Yeah, you know what? I just learned it too. So that's okay. We learn every day.
Very true. Very true. So Dio Masunaga is so good with social media. Do you feel like that as social media modernizes, that this is going to help globalize Kyokushin as well?
It will definitely help. I mean, organization having, representative or, directors or presidents being younger too. Remember, the old guard wasn't really social media type of persons. Some of them don't want to be on social media, and I truly respect that. But the youngest, the organization are getting younger in terms of who leads the organization, and a lot of them do hire people to take care of the social media part because it's a full-time job. But I'm trying very hard to keep my page up to date. But will it help? It won't. Yeah, it will, definitely. Is it enough there? I don't think so. There's always place of improvement. It's just how we want to expose it. I think Kyokushin would benefit of understanding and agreeing all together as a big one group one day, someday, hopefully, and let the ego and politic part outside. That's my truly wish, but well, we gotta breathe. But will that happen? I hope so. And will social media help? Probably. I don't know to the extent though, but it does help promote, our dojo, local dojos and organization, and it's. These days people don't take I don't think they exist anymore. The yellow pages.
No,
I don't think they exist anymore.
It's on internet.
It's online. Yeah. So what do you do when you want to find something? You go on Google and you try it. You keyword, some stuff, and you say, Okay, I want to karate or Kyokushin because I love Shiandolf, let's say. Okay, so you type this, and then whew, the history of Kyokushin is there. So people are more tend to look on the internet, as where in the past we had to rely on yellow pages, ads in the local newspaper. I mean, there's no ad on TV for Kyokushin, and I don't think there will someday. But you know, well, maybe. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Karate Combat, the Karate Combat League. That's
maybe. I mean, you know,
with the help of the Olympics, probably it's gonna put it more into
under the spotlight.
Yeah, under the spotlight, mostly the TV spotlight, because I think the karate event in the Olympics is gonna bring more people to look at it. Like, we heard about it, we talked about it, now it's time to look at it and really on TV see what it's like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, taking it back to where you said we hope that like our dream is to obviously put politics and ego aside. I mean, you know, obviously when I came back into recording again after my vacation, my little break vacation, the first episode I did back was honoring the late Hanshi Steve Arniel. And how beautiful was it to see every organization, even IKO 1 did a tribute to this man. Like it was nice to see some form of coming together finally. How do you feel his legacy is gonna live?
We were IFK
Mm-hmm.
once upon a time. You did bring something very good, and I've never met. My sadness is that I've never met him. Sorry, I wish I had. But you know, knowing Sensei Darren personally, he's told me so much about him, and I truly believe that he brought Kyokushin in another way, in another, you know, he took it out of Japan.
Yeah.
Literally. And he customized it, you know, so that we as non-Japanese could practice it. And he made it a different level, literally. And that's amazing when you think about it. You know, I was really sad to hear that he passed. He was sick, unfortunately, but you know, he did something very good, I think, for Kyokushin. And yeah, seeing all the messages from over the world, from every organization, made me feel like, okay, my wish may come true someday.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me, how do you say that? Hope.
Yeah, hope.
Yeah, hope.
Hope.
Yeah, it's really weird too, because like after when I hosted Darren and West to do the honorary tribute, because they were the two best people to talk to about him.
Indeed.
Like that's like when I had I actually had as weird as it sounds, like I had like a dream one night of like what I wanted to do with my show, and I finally saw, okay, said I gotta raise the bar now. I said now it's my turn, because when Sensei Sebastian messaged me, he said one time, he's like, I'm really glad to see you're back recording. He says, we need people like you. And
Indeed.
that was like another.
Yeah, we do. We do. And thank you for doing what you're doing, because you help promote this amazing sport all over the world, because it's not just local. I mean, you've had great people on your show like Cameron Quinn, you had Sensei Pat, you had not just to name them, I mean, Sensei Pierre, Xian Pierre, obviously is
Sensei Johanne Fournier.
my bad. Yeah, and you know, you had a lot of great people on your show, and it's amazing to finally have someone that talks for us. Mm-hmm. You're our voice right now. We need that, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you know what? When you have, it's really funny how this all started. Like I never would have thought I would have done a podcast. When I started doing it, it was on audio only, and it was big for a bit, but then eventually video came, and yeah, but I want to live. I have to execute on Sosai and Hanshi's mission, which is to grow and elevate the art. And that's why, like, I do want to have those conversations with people from all organizations. If they don't want to come on because of whatever reason, that's on them. That's their issue, not mine. I don't get bitter by it. But eventually, as it grows and grows, they're going to want to come on, because at the end of the day, it's like, when it's all said and done, when this thing, you know, I have no idea how this is going to grow, but I see big things. I want people to know what Kyokushin is. If BJJ can have what they have, why can't we? If one man can do it, one man and woman can do it, others can do it.
Exactly. And, you know, to think that Kyokushin, and I may be mistaken here, but I think it's one of the most popular style in the world. And yet we don't know much about it. If you don't practice it, you don't know about it. I was talking to my friends over the weekend. They were asking me, what do you do? Like, I do Kyokushin, okay? What do you do? I mean, he says, you punch and you kick. I say, yeah, I punch and I kick, but it's
so much more than that.
It's so much more than just punching and kicking, you know. The philosophy, the way of doing katas, the fighting,
the techniques,
you know, and all the discipline, the respect, that it's not just punching and kicking. I mean, so Kyokushin, I think, is not known enough. Although it's very popular, though. Yeah.
I think with karate combat, it's going to help, because when I had our first representative, Max Mathis of karate combat, some people were saying he's not a big name. It doesn't matter if he's a big name. We need that first one there, and then with him there, others follow. Because who knows? What if somehow one of IKO Nakamura's fighters wants to go pro in that karate combat league? You know how good that is for IKO Nakamura, Pierre Tats, and Dio Masanaga. It's like, you know how good that is for Kyokushin? That puts more eyes on you guys, more students who want to train, and they're gonna say, hey, I can take this professional maybe if I want to, as karate combat grows. So that's why I look at it. Like, we need to always do more to grow it any way possible. And we got to always highlight the community. We got to always highlight the community. That's got to be the most important.
Exactly. Indeed, it's, you know, that's what I find with Nakamura. The community is amazing. And it's family. It's my family now. It's
a nice comeback to the beginning.
Yeah, you know what? It's finally there. We've had that in the past. We've lost it. Now we're finding it again, and it's, you know, I feel like at ease. Finally, I can breathe and just have fun.
Yeah.
You know, practicing the best sport ever.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, ever since I hosted you the first time, and then Pierre, like, it reinvigorated my love, like, just like hearing about all the stories. And then there was one time where Xian called me, and he was like, we were talking like about an hour for about like all the K1 legends and martial arts legends. And he was telling me like the tournament, he was telling me like one of the tournament stories he was at. It was a really interesting, and I was like, man, it's like, this guy's like, this is like a primary source of martial arts history here.
Bible.
Like, yeah. You guys know George St. Pierre's BJJ coach, John Danaher, the one with the shaved bald head? That's basically Pierre for he's basically the John Danaher. He's the John Danaher of Kyokushin karate. But we need someone like that. We need those Xians that know all the history from anywhere, and like, you know, they don't leave any stone unturned. Like, it's like, and it's like anytime I get like, it's like when I hear a story, it's like when we finish a conversation, it's like, fuck, damn it, I want to hear more. Gotta cut down. I'm trying to cut down on the swearing here, because there's kids that could listen to this, and I don't want to be seen as bad.
You gotta admit, having a leader that's passionate as him does help. You know, when you have a leader that is, I don't know how to say that in English, blasé, you know, where he's just, he's like, yeah, let's do this, you know.
He doesn't really want to.
Yeah, he's, you know, having him teaching us, and it's always a different thing at every class. We never do the same thing, and it's always as passionate as it is. And he's like, okay, let's go. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it like this and this, and then the way he explains it, it's refreshing to have someone as passionate as him as a leader. As you know, the old guard in other organization where the shians or the top leaders, they're like not teaching anymore. You know, it's like, why? We would benefit from you to learn.
It's so sad to see them go.
Yeah, it's like you should keep on teaching that people that will keep you alive first.
Mm-hmm.
Keep you young.
Yeah, true. But your students would be like, you're not just a picture on the wall, you know.
Yeah, and
you're on the dojo, but you're not doing anything, so you're a picture to me, you know.
He does it. He like, that's why, like, you know, like, yeah, like, and I always get my balls chopped. Like, I was like, Mohammed always busts my chops where he's like he's always like, he always like likes to say like, yeah, like he busted my chops in my own way, because he knows like I have like uber respect for Xian Pierre. But at the same time, though, the one thing I do want to say is like, it's like, I really love when Xian Pierre once told me, you know, he's like, listen, he's like, I never tell people how to live their life. But the one thing I'm going to say about this is here, he said to me, I want you to stay friends with Mohammed because he's good for you. He keeps you in line. And he's right. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be here like doing this. Like, I mean, yeah, I did it myself, but you know, I wouldn't be where I am in Kyokushin knowing what I know now, like in terms of kumites, practicing and training, if it wasn't for Mohammed. So that's why, like, I always like to say me and Mo are like this, for like a package deal, like, you know, and he helped me with my move actually, you know, so I got to give a huge shout out to him. Like, he took time out of his day, met my mom finally. And then he came to my apartment. He was like the first one there. And it was, yeah, that's what I love about Kyokushin, regardless of or association. You're going to meet someone or some people that you become lifelong friends with.
And they become family. They're friends, they're families, and they're friends that become family.
You don't need blood to be family.
Indeed.
I want to ask Sempai Laurence, because Sempai Laurence, you've been getting back into training. What's that been like for you? Because I know it's been busy for you, but how has it been coming back to training and getting back into form?
It feels like finally taking a big breath when you've been missing air for years. It's amazing to come back, and really, it is hard. I'm not gonna lie, it is hard. I've been hurt for a couple of years. I've had an injury on my knee and on my leg, 3 times broken, and it's hard to come back, but it feels like finally coming back home after a long vacation.
Is it worth it?
It is worth it.
Nice.
It's so good, and I just feel home.
Once like everything, like, you know, I know, like you said, you've had your injury, like some injuries, which happens. Do you plan to like do competition again in terms of kumites or katas, or what's the?
I do plan on going back to competition for katas, but I don't think my leg could endure coming back to kumites for competition. Maybe like between yourself, yes, but not for competition. I don't think my leg could handle it, sadly.
Yeah, she's got to reinforce that portion because it was actually broken while doing her fights for her shodan.
My shodan.
So
yeah, no, like I mean, I didn't have like, I mean, my last kumite too, my left leg was chewed up from. Do you guys know Vincent Senpai Vincent Michaud?
Yeah.
So I fought one of Sensei Mark Pronovo's guys in my last kumite, and the guy chopped my leg up. So sometimes when I want to do a kumite, I'm kind of like, but I miss it. I mean, I need to compete. I mean, I need to be doing something. I'm the kind of person that needs to be training to compete. If otherwise, I'm going to eat like garbage. I mean, I'm going to eat Doritos. I'm going to get the salsa, the dip. I'm bad.
I have her. I don't have a choice.
Come on.
Yeah, but she cooks. But she cooks amazingly. So
yeah, she does.
Thank you.
Oh, speaking of cooking, because I want to tell you. So obviously, you know, like I moved out because I used to live in like a kosher household. So kosher is like, if you're Muslim, it's halal. Can't eat certain meats. It has to be cooked a certain way. But when I was living with my real mom, you know, like we weren't really kosher. But even though she's Jewish, but my stepfamily was more observant. so I've been trying all the meats I could never try before, and I went.
Yay!
Oh my! It's like a whole. It's like, you know, the Aladdin song, "A Whole New World."
A whole new world.
Exactly. That's what's going on in my head when I'm doing grocery shopping. So I've been
It's
trying.
freaking-
I'm trying bison. I tried horse meat finally.
That's good.
It's very good.
It's very underrated. The horse meat burgers I've made are so. It's a game kind of meat. And when I tell people I eat horse, they look at me like, huh? They're like, you animal abuser. It's like,
No,
No,
doesn't mean that.
no.
I'm not a bad person. I wanted to try it. I mean, I'm sorry if I ate I'm sorry if I ate your little pony, but
It can be worse than the little piggy, you know.
yeah, no, but bison meat. But let me ask you guys, since you love cooking and all that, what is your ideal meat dish? Since you guys love meat.
Oh boy,
Well-
we just meat lovers big time.
Yeah, but I do think my favorite one is she makes, it's not really meat. It is. She makes a tuna steak.
Ooh.
It's so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorite meal that she does.
Exactly. Yeah,
It
tuna.
tastes amazing. It's fresh and a good meal.
With veggies,
Yeah.
veggies on the side.
Oh, what kind of veggies? I eat green beans. I'm very picky
You
with
know
my
what?
veggies.
My nutritionist once told me about 10 years ago, whatever. Says a good meal should have two colors in your plate.
Hmm.
So whatever veggies you have, always have two colors.
Okay.
So that's your target. Have two
Yeah.
colors, whatever it is. It can be carrots with mushrooms. It can be
Carrots.
I like you, Senpai. I hate carrots.
Salad doesn't count.
No.
So yeah, so two colors with your meat, and just enjoy it, because you eat from your eyes as well.
Yeah.
So if your plate is boring
Or disgusting.
or disgusting because the color is faded and it's like, you're gonna be more up to eating your plate to the fullest if you have that appealing plate in front of you instead of having this boring plate in front of you. So yeah, two colors.
Mm-hmm.
Big
That's
rule.
a big rule.
Big rule.
Nice. I'm trying that too. I'm sure you've seen my Facebook stories with like the steak and the beans and
Yeah, that steak looked good, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm learning. I made chili, by the way. I finally made chili for the first time. Yeah. Okay, I'm learning. I think I'm with martial arts. I'm starting to learn to like cooking. It's a job in itself, but I mean, when you don't have any like other kids or whatnot.
It's preparation. What I do is on Sunday afternoon, I try to prepare all my veggies for the week. So I cut them ready to eat. So it makes it easier at night to fix your dinner when you're tired, when you're in a rush, or because everything is prepared in advance, your fruits and your veggies. So at night, all you have to do is just to heat them or cook them the way you want them, or you can just eat them right away from the plate, because they're cooked, they're cut already. You don't have to prepare them.
And when you do prepare them, make sure you have fun preparing it.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing about preparing it, if you don't have fun doing it, you're gonna stop doing it.
Indeed.
So put some music, dance, sing. Do something you like while doing it, and it's gonna make it so much easier.
Yeah. And that's the key to a better way of eating, and it's a key to enjoy eating too. Because if you're in a rush, you're tired, you want to go train, you don't have anything ready, what are you going to do? You're going to order, you're going to eat fast food, you're going to eat the first chip bag, it's there. You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. It's okay to have some in the house. It's okay to cheat twice a week, actually.
You should cheat,
Actually, you should, yeah. But to keep the balance in your head, But eating should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't be something that's hard to do. So yeah, preparation is the key of the whole thing.
Very true. Preparing is the key. And also, I work from home. I mean, I don't know what's going on with you guys. I mean, I work from home like permanently. So I can prepare stuff easier. So I have like, I just take my break, and prepare it.
Yeah, no, I work from home. I know we're going to come back to the office sooner than we think.
Okay.
It's in the air. I know it's in the air. It's just a matter of time, I think. But yeah, so going back to the office will be going back to a mindset of, getting ready, better prepared. And, we used to have our, training bag in our car ready all the time. Now it's in our bedroom because we train at home. We try to train in the dojo when we can. So it's that mindset of, okay, I'm going to be ready because I want to train. I want to eat well. And it's, are you
Sorry.
It's cool. Don't worry. Don't worry.
A long day.
So
Wednesday does that.
It does a hump day, huh?
Oh man.
But yeah, it's getting ready for that mindset. It's part of it, and it's important, really important.
What, so like, yeah, no, it's so true. Like, I mean, I know, like, because now, like, as you know, we kind of go back, everyone's there's kind of like, well, let's see what happens. I mean, now with like the cases going up again, it's like, God knows what's going to happen. I mean,
You know what? We were talking about it yesterday with the students, and they were asking, what are you going to do in September if the case rises? And I said, well, you know what? We can't say anything because we don't know. I mean, people are vaccinated now. Are we going to impose this passport thing? I don't know. I can't say anything. I'm not part of the politic decision. If it is what it is, we'll act upon. But right now, my main focus is on a daily basis is to train you guys what we have right now and have fun with it. And we'll cross the bridge when we get to the river.
very, very true. That's amazing. It's, and I just think, but I'm hopeful. I mean, luckily, I mean, some companies, you say you're going back to the office sooner than you think, but are they offering like a hybrid system where it's like, do you want to like?
It's going to be, but we don't know to what extent. Is it going to be a 1 day thing? Is it going to be a 2 days, 3 days? We don't know. But for sure, we're never going to come back to what it was before. Not for the next few years, for sure. Because we've proven we can work from home efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very true.
I went before COVID because I was working from home once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to do that. And if I wanted to work a second day, I was questioned why. Mm-hmm. And now because they thought, yeah, you're not doing anything at home. Like, no, I'm working. And they had a hard time believing it. But COVID had this amazing positive way of, it proved to everyone that we could be efficient at home. And it worked.
Exactly. Like my work wants to make 90% of the office work from home permanently.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They want to, but they have to bring it to the directors, and like my director wants to do it, but then he has to go to the other directors and see what the others say. But I mean, it's basically like a norm. Like it's crazy, like how much you can do. Like that's why, like they asked me, oh, do you want to do like a hybrid model? I was like, no. Okay, well, your numbers are good, so we're not going to have to monitor you. Because, like, I think it's like if you're performing below expectation, they're going to say, okay, let's come in a few days.
Yeah, you would have the same issue at the office.
Yeah.
If you're not performing, you're not performing at home, you're not performing at the office. It's just a different way of being shown, But sooner or later, if you're not a performer, it shows. I truly believe it shows. You can't hide from this. You can't.
No. That's why, like, I love you work.
You either have that thing that makes you perform. If you practice, if you train, and those who just train and try to do tournaments and they only train once a week. That's not enough, So it's like it shows. It's gonna come back to your face someday.
That's why.
I really believe it.
Where'd she go? Where's Sempai Laurence go?
She went to put on the air conditioning because it's hot in the house.
Oh, God. Okay.
Really hot. It's really hot.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's a smart move there. Okay. Well, I guess, like we're going to conclude it here, but I just want to personally say, Sensei Johanne and Sempai Laurence, thank you so much for coming on. It was such an honor to have both of you guys on. And if you guys ever want to come on again,
Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, we had a blast. Are you still nervous?
I'm not nervous.
It takes time. Don't worry. Look, as I said, I remember when I had my first big guest too, I was nervous. And I used to be when I'm doing this the first time on video, I said, I don't want to go on YouTube. But I told myself, you know what? I got to just go with it. And you did a great job. So I want to say a great kudos to you.
Thank you. It's really appreciated.
You did good. Very good.
Sensei, where can people find you if they want to connect with you? Because I said we got to make sure.
They can find me on Facebook, Sensei Johanne Fournier, or Karate KJF. You can call me 514-824-5425.
Yeah.
Or come to the dojo twice a week on Tuesday and Thursdays from 6 to 8:30. And we're located in Laval, 1200 Vincent Massé, second floor on the right.
Perfect. Guys, make sure to support the dojos. They build our communities. They bridge our communities better than our elected officials do. So support and make sure to put your kid in Sensei Johanne's classes. She's great with kids. I wouldn't recommend her for nothing. So please, as I say, support the dojos because they need our support more than ever.
Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. And that is the Drew Experience, which will be on YouTube and all audio platforms probably by the end of the week.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait.